Hello, and welcome to that Money Lady podcast with me, your host, Audrey, your friendly money lady. This episode is going to be a little off the script. I don't really have anything specifically outlined or laid out, but I have a lot on my heart and my mind that I hope will be beneficial to you. Um, Entrepreneurship is a wild ride, and it's not for the faint of hearts. It shows you and puts everything, it amplifies everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Before I even started this entrepreneur journey, people were telling me, you should be an entrepreneur. I've been told this my entire, like, when you, as a kid, you ever take those quizzes that, like, what should you be when you grow up? And it like tells you through your personality. Mine were always a politician, an entrepreneur, a teacher, or a lawyer. No matter what point in my life I've taken it, it falls into one of those categories. And yeah, I always fought it tooth and nail, especially the entrepreneur track. It's not it being in the financial world, you see the worst of the worst. And there's a beauty to that, and I also, my husband always jokes because I get on the phone for like hours at a time with clients and they're just telling me all the things. And it not always even has to do with business, because entrepreneurship is really lonely. And he always says I'm the psychiatrist. and I love that I get to be that for people, that I get to be the sounding board and just the ear to be able to talk about all the things that feel too scary or intimate or overwhelming or scary. I'm very grateful and honored that I get to be that for people. And that's also terrifying for me. If I'm very, very honest, just all my experience all the way up to the accounting firm, I was just like, I saw the worst of the worst, and I helped people through the worst of the worst. And I deeply know how much entrepreneurs are reactive with their finances instead of proactive, which is why I got on this journey and started this podcast and started the Graceful Penny, and trying to give people the knowledge and the understanding and the foundation so that they can succeed, so they can spread their wings and show all their really cool things that they're creating and bringing to the world. I have it up here in my head. Let's share it with the world. I'm all about sharing. The more we share, the more we open things up and talk about them and have a diversification of opinions and thoughts and experiences. That's when you're able to excel faster. And so with that, it's also very hard. It's like it can be overwhelming and extra scary because I'm doing everything I can to avoid all of that. Not really successfully, but also in my own way. Just granted, my finances, I got that on lockdown, and helping other people with their finances locked down, but it's I clearly I don't have the words. It's scary to take that next step and knowing whether or not this path is my path. Because like I'm pretty sure I've talked about this a few times already on this podcast. The IRS got a bunch of money to be able to properly fund themselves. There are buku positions available and they pay really well. The hours are normal. and benefits, and just, it's hard. And I don't know the answer, and I don't know the right answer. And I'm just wading through this because marketing and selling is my Achilles heel in every capacity. Um, and the more I peel back the layers of my story, the more it makes sense with just certain situations in my past where somehow the marketing and the selling, the money coming in was my response. Like, I got blamed for the lack of money coming in when I was just trying to respond with what is, because that was my job in the finance. Like, when you're in the financial track, you're not in charge of the money coming in, like how the money comes in. You're just in charge of the money that is. That's a rant for another day. All of this to say is, I hope you do, if you're struggling, know that you're not alone. I I'm very well aware I'm not alone in my struggle because of people who come to me and talk to me. And so I'm very grateful in that sense. And I don't take that for granted. And at least for me, it's not, it doesn't make it any easier. it's it's confusing, it's complicated. You don't really know what your next step is as an entrepreneur. And even if you do, you're still unsure. You're like testing the waters, you're like dipping the toe, and like, is this right? No, okay. It's a struggle. And I've, like I mentioned at the beginning, I've fought tooth and nail not to be an entrepreneur. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I I got all the way to the accounting firm, and I tried to go a different track after that. Got pulled back to being an entrepreneur by clients reaching out in beautifully creative ways to ask me to do their books on the side and on nights and weekends in order to make sure that I'm still a part of their business. And I couldn't be more, I was very, very honored and grateful for the support and the belief in me. Hands down, I will love that one in particular. I will love that woman to the end of time. She is just the greatest gift that could have ever walked into my life. And along with many others, I don't, but she is definitely one of them that I will treasure for the rest of my life. And she's like, you can do this. And I was like, are you sure? I don't want to. So I got pushed into entrepreneurship kicking and screaming. And I have now spent a good 2 years trying really hard, year and a half, I'll say a year and a half, trying really hard to make this work, trying everything I know how to do and more things I don't even know how to do. And I've gotten support in that side because I don't know what I'm doing. And I know how valuable support is when you don't know when you're flying blind. You're like, fuck, I don't know what this is. Let's go over here. I find it very important and essential to get support with what you struggle with. And even with that, and I have brilliance, like, I am so fortunate for stumbling upon the help I have received, and so grateful for the belief and the support that I have gotten till the end of time. Like, the it's just amazing, and I will never take that for granted. And it still makes me question, what is right? What am I doing? What am I doing? Um, what is going on? Because I don't know. I know that it's not working. I know that. And I don't know how to make it work. and it's scary and confusing and difficult and so many negative emotions that it's difficult to navigate. I don't know about you, but it's difficult for me to navigate. And even though I have a lot of support, it still feels like I'm navigating it alone. And conceptually, I know that's not true. I have a lot of people I can just reach out to. And I know I'm very grateful for that. I am very, very grateful for my incredible group of people and the community I have cultivated. And I don't want to sound like I'm not grateful or I'm taking that for granted, because I know I can reach out, and that is on me if I don't reach out. And that still doesn't change the fact there's sometimes crying on the floor. And that is by yourself. Like that, I did that by myself. Like there's no one to sit there with me in that sense. And that's just life. Life does that. And it can be hard to know which direction to go in. Where is that next step? Are you even on the right path? Is this next path that came forth the path? Because here's my struggle. My end goal is to make our tax system less shitty, because it's awful. Like, it is no wonder that so many small business owners deeply struggle with what is and isn't expected of them. And it's because it's confusing and awful and only made for people that are at the top. That's how it was designed. That's how it was made. That's how it's all meant for profit and for those high earners. And I don't think that's fair. And I don't, that's my mission, is to make it fair and equitable, to have a fair and equitable tax code. And also to help 10,000 entrepreneurs. Those are my big goals. Those are my big dreams. And the IRS is hiring. like, I am not getting clients. I am doing everything I possibly know how, besides killing my soul being on social media 24/7 to post and do all those things. Like, social media is not something that I enjoy in any capacity. It is very difficult for me to appreciate that as a business tool. So I don't know. And now I'm sharing my I don't know with all y'all. Right or wrong, it's what I got. Like, it's what I got. And to end kind of more on a beautiful note, like, there are some really beautiful sides of entrepreneurship. I've always deeply struggled with my writing. I moved a lot as a kid, and if you've ever moved before, you know how very different curriculums and timelines are. I just very distinctly remember in seventh grade learning shit that I learned in like second or third grade. I was like, what is going on here? Thank you, rural Idaho. What? That's a rant for another day. Very big on education, if you can't tell. And it's because of all my moving, I do believe, and the disparities between education and how that all flows together. Anyway, side rant. With those gaps, my brain easily filled in gaps that were like math and science based, because there's a clear beginning, there's a clear end. You fill in the gaps, or you get partial credit for knowing most of the steps, and you just need to, like, you got this one step wrong, and then beyond that you got it all right. So you still get partial credit. Great. I can handle that, and I can learn from that step that I missed. I can do that, hands down. And I did. Then, like, that's my brain seamlessly went into that And not writing in English, anything to do with writing a paper was awful. It takes me a long time to write. I write like I talk. Grammar is like whatever. Spelling is awful. Like English words are ridiculous. Like just another rant for another day. It's difficult for me to write. And I learned that writing is dependent on who's grading it. Like there's no, like, I was still the same person going to different schools, but my writing was graded very differently, and I didn't change. I knew that. Like, I know your writing evolves slowly and there are changes that happen, but like for the most part, I didn't change. I was pretty stubborn on that front. I'm like, no, this is how I write. Here is my stance. Like, and so it, yeah, I was never graded very well or high in writing. And Penelope saying hi. And so I was supplemented, like well, specific papers didn't always get good grades. The end grade was always good. I was always great at filling those gaps to make sure that I got the end result that I wanted, even with my quote unquote disparity lacking. I don't think that's the right word. Hope you know what I'm talking about. And with that, it's just when I quickly learned that writing, I was bad at writing. That's what was always told to me by people who were the quote unquote authority in that. And I've kept that forever. And now with entrepreneurship, I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to do this newsletter. So that's the thing my line in the sand. I will die, but I will write and send one email minimum a week. I can do that. So I do that. And the feedback has been incredible, y'all. Like, it's been amazing to hear. Like, I had one person say that she hates emails. She generally deletes them and moves on. Even Mel Robbins, which is her favorite, she doesn't read those, but she opens and reads mine. And she always enjoys that. And then I had another person leave me a voice note saying, damn, you just raised the bar. Damn. And then yesterday I went on a copy call in my marketing group. I'm so proud of myself. I finally had something together in time to submit it before it gets live. And she was like, you're a really good writer. No wonder you're never on these copy calls. And I was like, oh, it's so crazy, that full circle for me. Like it's affirming in that sense. Like, okay, I am not bad at this, even though I've been told this and shown this for decades now. It's not true because it's working. Like, my open rates are amazing. My people are amazing. The feedback is incredible. And so I am doing something right in that sense. So that is the positive side. And that doesn't diminish the negative side. um, I don't really know where to leave this. It was, like I said, off the cusp and off the cuff and random. Not even sure it's gonna go live, but I wanted to spill the tea and kind of talk about the real things I'm currently going through, because shit's real. It is what it is, and entrepreneurship, not for the faint of hearts, my friends. As always, you have any questions, oh, don't ask me about marketing or selling because I don't know. But anything to do with systems, operations, finances, I got you. I'm your girl. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.